Haters. That's what their haters call them. So they retreat here, a secret group chat with other supposed sellouts. But they didn't commit a crime. They're just black Trump supporters. And this is their coming out party.
I'm gathering this is kind of a judgment-free zone. Everyone can kind of just be themselves. And
I think it confuses some people. They see black people walking around with MAGA hats, and they're probably like, do they know what they're in line for?
Kalasia, Charisse, and Anthony bonded on social media. They're here in DC to finally meet others like them in person. As a biracial woman, I know exactly what it feels like to be misunderstood by your own people. So that's why I came here, to find out why everyone acts like black conservatives don't exist.
USA! USA! USA!
This is the nonprofit behind this meetup, Turning Point USA. They promote conservative values on college campuses. And you might know it because of them, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens.
There is nothing more American than being black in this country.
But today, the crowd is here to see someone else.
Who in this room wants to be president someday?
President Trump's approval rating among African Americans hovers around 14%. In here, though, it's off the charts.
The African American unemployment rate has hit the lowest level ever recorded in the history of our country.
This is a recurring theme.
African American unemployment has reached its lowest rate ever recorded.
Trump deserves credit for his role in maintaining low black unemployment levels. It's been steadily declining since before he got to Washington. But beyond that, the picture looks a little different. The median net worth of black families is 10 times lower than white families. The gap between black and white home ownership is growing, and black college graduates still make significantly less than white college graduates. But for these students, this is bigger than just the economy.
Before even becoming a conservative, I started to feel like I was a victim. But once I got out of that victim mentality, I actually started thriving.
My biggest pet peeve is when people say, we've made no progress since slavery. Are you kidding me?
a lot of what I heard today was the narrative that Democrats really don't care about black people.
We sit in these really bad, dilapidated, broken communities. Democrat policies have continuously been implemented, and they have not worked.
Welfare reform is on the president's to-do list. And this gets to the core of conservatism, that liberal policies unintentionally do more harm than good. After LBJ created social programs like food stamps and Medicare in the 60s, the rate of black economic progress actually slowed down. They made progress, but not as quickly as in the 5 years before these programs started. Still, there are far fewer black people in poverty today than there were back then. But even if conservatives are right about welfare holding folks back, sometimes Trump makes things complicated.
After Charlottesville, when he said there were fine people on both sides, do you think that was racist?
No one likes to see Nazis parading around singing Blood and Soil. That could have been handled a lot better.
Trump sometimes says things in the wrong way. I never feel like he's personally attacking the black community.
Not all black conservatives agree. We met up with Quadricos Driscoll. He's a Republican who teaches religion and politics at GW.
Do you think it's fair to call Trump a racist?
I think it's fair to call Trump a racist. Yes. How I define racism is about power structures that prevent access to certain things. And so when we look at his policies and when we certainly look at his rhetoric, it falls in line to what racism is.
Why do you think we see such vitriol coming from other members of the black community directed at people within this young black conservative movement?
That is one thing I never agreed with. Black conservatives aren't going away.
He's right. This isn't some new trend. Then why are there so many culturally conservative African Americans who don't vote Republican? Well, it goes back to the end of slavery, when black people did vote red. But just as they became Republican leaders in the 1930s, Hoover's administration kicked them out to appeal to Southern racists. It's when Roosevelt's New Deal came along that minorities saw a chance to turn their misfortunes around. And when Republican presidential nominee Barry Goldwater opposed the Civil Rights Act, that's when many black voters switched to loyal Democrats.
Being a black conservative, you kind of feel like you're the only one.
People have been really crazy, especially black people. I had some People tell me to bleach my skin, kill myself, you're a coon, you're Uncle Tom.
It's like one thing to be called those things by like white people. When it's within your own community, it hurts.
And then there's Kanye. You didn't think we'd forget about him, did you? Before his fallout with Candace Owens, people here appreciated the visibility he lent to the cause and the MAGA hat.
This is our president!
I noticed on your Twitter you had that post about wearing your MAGA hat for the first time.
Yes, which was yesterday. It's giving me courage to stand up for what I believe in.
Here's the thing about the hat. When these guys wear it, it's an act of defiance that says we're not Democrats and we are not invisible. Look, people are messy. Too messy for the simple little boxes society wants to put us in. And if someone doesn't fit, it's becoming much easier to dismiss the unknown rather than try to understand it.